For 16 years, I haven't touched him, hugged him, or sat with him. It's a very strange feeling. I don't know what to tell you. For 16 years, I've been going to visit and returning home, deprived of my son's touch or seeing him in a normal state.
In the next stage, there should be more guarantees than this. We are not numbers, we are people, human beings, families. We have our lives, our goals, and our origins. Therefore, in the next stages, all sides should abide by the agreements.
You've received your prisoners of war, so why delay the handing over of our Palestinian prisoners of war? This is something that hurts our hearts, the lack of commitment, and a disregard for all international standards and law.
Absolutely, very exhausted and tired and traumatized, waited until late hours, but the release did not happen, just added to the trauma that they experienced in the past 15 months. Many of the people who were supposed to be released, Palestinians who were detained from evacuation centers, from their homes, from other areas they were sheltering in, from evacuation zones that the Israeli military asked people to evacuate to. A lot of people were taken, kidnapped, and taken to jails in Israeli detention centers in the past 15 months, and some of them have spent less than a year in those jails, but it felt more like 10 years and 20 years given the very difficult conditions in those detention centers, the dehumanization, the torture, the physical abuse, as well as the psychological abuse. A lot of people at the Gaza European Hospital, mothers waiting for their sons, wives waiting for their husbands, and children waiting for their fathers and mothers who were detained from, all were thrown into despair and depression as the release did not happen. The release by itself is very significant. It's the only guarantee for Palestinians to be alive. Other than this, given the notorious history of the Israeli incarceration system, close to 50 people just in the past 15 months died inside those detention centers because of the dehumanization and the physical torture and the abuse that they experienced all of these past months, including the enforced dehydration and starvation. So for a lot of families, they are depressed, they are disappointed, they are let down as many times in the past, because without their loved ones and relatives released from detention centers, there is no guarantee that they're going to survive further difficult conditions, particularly at this time with so many violations of the ability of the ceasefire to continue and sustain.
Well, in the last several weeks, there have been some delays in the release of Palestinian prisoners, but it hasn't really been stopped entirely. This time, it's a little bit different. The Israeli Prime Minister releasing a statement saying that until the ceremonies in Gaza are no longer, and until he can ensure all, Israel has decided to not allow the release of the more than 600 Palestinian prisoners who were slated to be released from detainment as part of the ceasefire agreement. Now, Hamas is accusing Israel of violating the deal, calling on mediators to try and step in to get things done. But Benjamin Netanyahu wants assurances from mediators that the remaining captives who are set to be released will not be released in some sort of ceremony. However, those who are set to be released in the final week of phase 1, which is 1 week from yesterday, March 1st, this Saturday, they are the remains of 4 Israeli captives. These are the last ones that are set to be released in this phase. It's unclear what's going to happen next, but last night when the Israeli security cabinet and security chiefs had met, Netanyahu reportedly defied the wishes and the orders of the heads of the Mossad, the heads of the Shin Bet, and did not release the prisoners, even though they said it could have horrible ramifications and repercussions as part of the deal. Netanyahu decided against it anyway, so it's unclear where exactly we stand and what sort of assurances mediators are going to give Israel as part of the last week of phase 1.